Hello there. Hello there. I always sound so weird standing here in front of a camera, just sort of, where do I begin? Where do you begin, I think there's a lot of moaning and groaning. I think there's a lot to moan and groan about. But I think there's far too much moaning and groaning and hating and being suspicious and seeing everything sinisterly, playing the victim, finding someone to blame and putting shame on others. Far too much of that. And reality itself may seem like a harsh place. People say, well, it's, the world is a hard place. Life is hard and can be unfair. Get real. But I think just because life appears to be hard more because it's more painful, we don't need to base our standards off that. That the more pain I feel, the more real life is. Because pleasure it belongs to life too. And so to actually see life for what it is, really, in a pragmatic, logical way, not in an airy-fairy way, but to see it for what it is, there's no way you can see it through the eyes of anger, or through the eyes of pessimism, or through the eyes of suspicion, or the eyes of shame or guilt. There's no way that you can actually see your logical, true reality through those filters. Equally, we can't see the world with rose-tinted spectacles. We can't see the world for more than it is and saying, no, if I fall, I will not hit the ground because I believe that. I've never had it work, I've talked to outer forces and says, please help me, and I've got no help, to my knowledge. But at the same time, just because I can't disprove something or prove something doesn't mean to say that it is or it is not in existence. I only see so much of the world. I have only learnt so much about the world, same as you. I can't predict you to know any more than you know. And so seeing life for what it is isn't just a self-evidential truth. You don't see the life for what it is. You don't see the life the same as you did a year ago or 2 years ago. You don't see the same life the same as I see life. So how can you cast a judgment about life when your judgment motives have changed over time? But one thing's sure, we need to see life with an attitude of hope. We need to sow the seeds that we want, not just try and kill the plants that we don't want. If anything, we have to let everything grow and then strip away the badness as we harvest the good fruit. Because there's no point in trying to just wipe out everything and just call everything bad, And to me, it gets on my nerves when we're just looking at the world pessimistically all the time. Every time you would come up with a positive answer about something would change, oh, that's not possible. That's not possible. Or it wouldn't work these days. Or you need the money. Or you can't do that. No one will listen. So much pessimism. Why don't we just just stop talking to each other? Or do you want answers as a pessimist, I spoke about this before. Optimism can also be blind. But at least we want to be able to sow the seeds of our future with hope. That it be fortunate, that it be good fruit, that our children can take the next seed and plant that on. But those seeds can't be seeds of anger, of suspicion, of hatred, of evil, of blame. They can't be those seeds. And as much as we need to find those evils in the world, as much as we need to clear the world of its madness and insanity and bring things back to a harmony, to a balance, we definitely, that's something that is our mission, that is our challenge, that is necessary for us to live in harmony, in satisfaction, obviously. So how do we get there? If we're talking about being realistic, being rational, being pragmatic even, being logical, being grown up, then let's start smiling and laughing a little bit with our thoughts. Let's start looking at the problems as challenges that can excite us. Because we can let this carry on. We can let the madness go on and let people suffer like paper slaves, believing in illusions, being deluded by systems. We can let this carry on for thousands of years probably. But some of us, we've never been able to play that game. We've never been able to be so disciplinary as to stand up to an alarm clock and follow the commands of our boss at the workplace to get the money. You know, it just didn't seem to work for all of us. So some of us have been screaming all of these years, you know, screaming, but now we need to like scream out the laughter. We need to we need to show the people that we weren't fighting. We were like just trying to have a good time. We just wanted to have a good life. If somebody else wanted to go to work and do all this banking and commerce and all this like playing this game, you know, the statist game, the pyramid game, anybody who wanted to play that was okay for me. But now it's hypnotized everybody. Now it's become personal. Now it's affecting people like me. It's affecting people who could just stand a little bit aside and not let it affect them. Now nobody's got time. Now nobody's got money. Now nobody's got freedom. Now nobody's got decent food. Now nobody's got friends. Are you happy? Is that enough reality? Is that enough harsh reality to realise? There has to be hope. And that's why I make these videos, because I see hope. Otherwise I would be off in another country where I know at least I could live to the end of my days in peace and quiet. But I find this quite an exciting time too. We have all these chances as human beings, as men and women and children, to stand up and make our own self become realised, to become who you are and contribute to a better society. And have that chance to contribute, and not just sit on the sidelines and watch everything collapse. That you actually gain some kind of wisdom that gets you to the place you feel you need to go. And that you're no longer following some false temptation or false pursuit, but you're here now with yourself all the time, and you know where you need to go because you're following that innocent path. You're not out to judge others and stuff. You're out to make the world a better place. There's a big difference, you know, right and left. Stick with what's right and not what's wrong about everything. You know, and it really is about sowing seeds of love and happiness and laughter. Laughter without being condescending or insensitive. But it's definitely about us being, you know, seeing the future as a possibility, full of potential, and not just a burial ground where we're all laid to rest. You know, there's so much potential there, and I can tell you that a lot of the things that we're seeing in the mainstream media, independent media, alternative media, is all just trickery. It's illusions. We've misperceived most of it. It's fears. It's caused us to be dispowered with fear. All we need to do is turn that fear off, and you can start to feel the power coming back. When you find the thing that you value the most, which is in your heart and in your soul and in your gut, what's your gut telling you? You know, when you find that, then you'll be more satisfied than ever, and then that'll help other people. But constantly going upstream against all of the things that you feel are bad, all of the people that are to blame, all of the things that are wrong, then it doesn't solve the problems. It's important that we know that these things are happening in the world, the conflict, so we can allow for them or account for them. Maybe even we're in actually doing distance of being able to change the world, but each one of us only has arm's length. We can only do so much. So let's do with these hands and with these words and with these actions and intentions, let's do what we can do as little people. And I don't expect too much from you. I'm sure you don't expect too much from me. So let's do what we can do. You do what you do, I do what I do. I don't like the word we too much. But I like to be together. You and I. Alright then. Thanks a lot for watching, and spread the love, spread the love, spread the love. Cheerio.